Our focus this Sunday afternoon. India Today's sting operation on Kashmiri separatists continues to make an impact, with the National Investigation Agency conducting fresh raids in Jammu and Kashmir. Just days after 7 separatist leaders were arrested by the NIA, 2 of whom were caught on India Today's cameras confessing to Pakistan's involvement in the unrest in Kashmir. The probe agency has raided a close aide of Hurriyat chief Aide Geelani. Devinder Singh Behl, who had earlier been booked for travelling to Pakistan without valid documents, is under the NIA lens now. Right, we earlier spoke to Kashmiri activist Sushil Pandit. Let's listen in.
I can certainly say that the noose is tightening. This is a most comprehensive action against Hurriyat and separatists for a long time. And this time seems to be more purposeful and very effective. I am not willing to say that the government is going for a kill and comprehensively sort this menace out. It would still seem that there is some degree of screw tightening in order to get them into some kind of compliance, but it is not comprehensive demolition of their capability to wage war against India. That would be proven when more serious charges are brought about.
I think they are very little charged, bit too little and bit too late. But yet, nevertheless, since we see now there appears to be some political will to take on these Pakistani stooges in Kashmir, and I think we need to be optimistic about it, and only hope and pray that this drive is taken to a logical conclusion. This should be the beginning, but exactly some of these guys deserve to be tried for crimes against humanity. They should be charged for that.
All right, for more on this, I'm joined by India Today's managing editor Rahul Kanwal. Rahul, it's a massive India Today impact. Just a week ago, we saw how 7 separatists were arrested, and now fresh raids are being conducted in Jammu and Kashmir.
This is part of a continuing investigation by the investigation agency, the National Investigation Agency. What has been told is could take from Pakistan.
We'll try and fix that link with Rahul Kanwal. We seem to have some audio and video issues with that Skype link with Rahul Kanwal. So the big story that we were telling you about was that it's a massive India Today impact. The NIA has conducted fresh raids in Jammu, and close aid of Aide Geelani is being raided. I'm also joined by India Today's Pooja Shali for more on this. Pooja, since May, it was in May when India Today first exposed the real face of separatists, and as we see with each passing day, the crackdown on separatists continues. Please give us more details about this person who's been raided, Devinder Singh Behl. What was his role, and has the NIA been able to recover documents or anything from his residence?
Well, absolutely. This is not only the impact of the ground report and the sting operation that India Today had successfully managed, but also the further impact that now can be seen. The NIA is moving out of the valley. It is also heading towards Jammu. Now, what we hear about this individual, Devinder Behl, is that he's a businessman. He resides usually near the area of Naushera, which is on the border of J&K. And he would be seen, as sources are saying, in Kashmir a lot doing business. So clearly the NIA is trying to also question not only the business links, but were there business links beyond and towards separatists as well? Because there are some unconfirmed sources saying he was, or if he had at least some association with the Hurriyat, but we are trying to get an official confirmation on that. But definitely it is now confirmed that the NIA, the National Investigation Agency, is heading to all businessmen who may be using their business strategies to take that money either through illegal hawala channels, or basically use separatist money either from across the border or elsewhere to foment trouble. And if Behl's questioning does not come out convincing, it can mean further trouble for him. As of now, it is only questioning that is being done. We will wait and watch if this means closer targets towards Geelani and Mirwais and Yasin Malik. Back to you.
Right, Pooja, like you were saying that on the NIA lens could be Yasin Malik and Saida Ali Shah Geelani. So give us more details where, as far as this investigation is concerned, we see that last Monday 7 separatists were arrested and now we see fresh raids being conducted. So how far or how close is the NIA towards, tightening the noose as far as Saida Ali Shah Geelani and Yasin Malik are concerned?
Well, it's very interesting how the separatists are trying to basically show that there is absolutely no involvement, that it is only witch hunting. But the fact is there are constant attempts being made by the separatists to get out of it. But documents that have surfaced have shown properties that have been amassed through illegal channels. Also, now that we know lie detector test could also be done on Naeem Khan and Bitta Karate, who have confessed on camera to receive money. Bitta Karate has confessed on camera that he has murdered many members of the minority community in the 90s. Clearly now it appears that the NIA is not willing to let go. But again, the question that has been repeating is, after the 7 people who've been arrested, whose lie detector test will happen, will it remain only to them? Will it go towards Geelani and Mirwais and Yasin Malik and other separatists, or will it remain confined? Because eventually the target are not only these 7 men. The target is, via them can we head to bigger fish, bigger people who were basically fomenting trouble. But this clearly means that the enforcement agencies are not going to back down now. And one by one, each link, even if small, is being at least questioned to begin with. Back to you.
Right. Pooja, please stay on with us. I think we have Managing Editor Rahul Kamal back on the phone line. Rahul, we were talking about the fact how the news is tightening around these separatists. And today we see fresh raids at the residence of a close aide of Saida Ali Shah Geelani. Remember in May we had exposed how these separatists confessed on camera accepting money from Pakistan and fuel unrest in the valley.
We've been speaking to officials in the National Investigation Agency who are involved in this probe, and from what we've gathered, Devinder Behl is an important character because he is apparently one of the major money bags, the conduit through which money from Pakistan was brought into Kashmir for burning Kashmir, for fueling anti-India activities. Remember, he's a Sikh, so he's not immediately under suspicion. He had far greater access, ability to travel out of India, meet with contacts from Pakistan, get this money back in. He also worked very closely with Sayyid Ali Shah Geelani, the leader of the Hurriyat Conference. And from what we've been able to gather by speaking to NIA sources, it's very clear that he is one of the key conduits. Now, initially the focus was only on the Hurriyat leader. Now the NIA is taking it one step forward to actually include in the purview of this probe all those who are involved in facilitating this terror trade. I'm calling it the trade of terror because that is essentially what it is. Money coming from Pakistan being used to terror in Kashmir. I'm also being told very clearly by sources at the highest levels in the NIA that Sayyid Ali Shah Geelani, Mirwais Umar Farooq, Yasin Malik will also be in the net. Increasingly, our investigative agencies are getting evidence to suggest that these Hurriyat terrorists also, the real big fish, have to pay for their crimes. That now seems almost certain.
All right. Thank you so much, Rahul Kamal, for that update. Pooja Shali is still with us. Pooja, I was speaking to a lot of Kashmiri activists on the broadcast, and they said that these people, these separatists, are being booked for, financial crimes, economic offense. But what they have done goes beyond the ambit of a financial crime. It's genocide. It's a crime against humanity. So what are your sources in the NIA telling you? Will the NIA widen its ambit of the charges that it's going to book against these separatists, or what is it going to be like? How are these people will be charged in the coming time?
Well, in fact, that's a very important question because even when these 7 people were arrested, the sections that were filed by the National Investigation Agencies were not only fomenting trouble in the valley, but also basically how the corruption and how these finances are leading to some very significant violent incidents of which some of these separatists and their aides are responsible. Also to add here, Shahidul Islam, who's also been arrested, was a close aide, has been of Mirwais Umar Farooq. Ayaz Akbar has been a close aide of Sayyid Ali Shah Geelani. Now, this clearly means that the attempt of the NIA and such agencies is to catch one of these aides one by one and then eventually lead to the big fish, eventually lead to Geelani and Meerwais, who as of now are keeping away, buying their time. But clearly I can tell you within the Hurriyat, there is this certain huddle. Suddenly they have realized that now probably the enforcement agencies will not let them go, will not let the status quo be maintained. This is time to start a crackdown, and it's gone beyond political figures. It's reached to businessmen. It's reached to people who may be involved in other activities and are using unprofessional channels. And that is why this specific businessman who resides in Jammu in Nowshera area has been also questioned. Now, was he in Kashmir only for business purposes? Why would NIA, of all people, decide to crack down or decide to question one individual residing in Jammu, often seen in Kashmir? What exactly was the connect? That is why the NIA is trying to catch our details, because sources are telling us that the connect to him has been made by revelations made by one of the 7 who've been arrested are being questioned. So that means, is there one by one information coming in that could reach to further evidence? Because the arrests cannot be made randomly. There will have to be some connects and contacts to be made into consideration. Back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Pooja, for that update. We are getting more breaking news. Right, we are getting some breaking news. India Today has accessed the Hurriyat's unrest calendar, a schedule of how the separatist party maintained and intensified the protests after Burhan Wani's encounter in July 2016. The calendar was recovered by the NIA from Geelani's son-in-law, Altaf Fantoosh, who was arrested earlier this week. So that's the latest. The protest calendar has been accessed by India Today. For more on this, I'm joined by India Today's Deputy Editor Kamaljeet Sandhu. Kamaljeet, please give us more details about what does this unrest calendar say?
Well, this is a very detailed calendar which was issued in the ambit of 8th anniversary, which was the first death anniversary of Burhan Wani, the Hizbul Mujahideen poster boy. He was also the commander at that point of time. Remember, he was gunned down last year after a fierce encounter. But what is more important is that how Hurriyat planned to use this to fuel unrest in the valley. This was a detailed calendar, and it's no state secret. This is a calendar which has been announced many of those times. Hartalas have been called in. And as a matter of fact, what is also surprising is that a lot of office people going, including those who are working in government offices, also follow that calendar. So there is no surprise that Altaf Fantoosh, who is the son-in-law of Saeed Ali Shah Geelani, from whose residence this calendar has been recovered, has been arrested. So yes, we've been told that those who have been arrested, including Geelani's aide, who include Altaf Fantoosh, Naeem Khan, as well as Ayaz Akbar, who are close aides of Saeed Ali Shah Geelani, are the ones who manage his funds, are the ones who manage his activities. But yes, this is also pinpointed now that this calendar is available. This is something which is spread. So obviously this is in a public domain itself. But the fact remains that this is a very well-oiled conspiracy, and that each one has a very important role to play. Now that they've been arrested, it's going to be important to see how and what the next plan of Saeed Ali Shah Geelani is, even as the law is closing in on him.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, Kamaljeet, if you go through this calendar, you will find how everything is planned. Everything says that when you have to block roads, when you have to organize prayers, when you have to organize protests, when you have to organize special prayers for stability of Pakistan, then you know there should be a black day across Jammu and Kashmir, including what they call Azad Kashmir. So, you know, this calendar which India Today has accessed completely exposes Saeed Ali Shah Geelani, who not just is taking money from Pakistan, but also is fueling unrest in Kashmir through a very schemed, a well-planned itinerary, a well-planned calendar to set Kashmir on fire.
Well, there's always been a talk about how their separatists are being playing into the hands of anti-national elements, including Pakistan ISI agents and Pakistan itself. But yes, remember, they're called the separatist leaders, so they have an agenda in mind, and that they have had a free run for all these years is also something which speaks about the Indian system. But the fact is now that there is proof and there is evidence that the money is coming in. And remember, these are the dots which are still to be connected. Remember, at this point of time, we know that raids are being conducted in Jammu itself. Earlier, we've seen in the May end itself, there were multiple raids in 26 locations, which including Srinagar, Jammu, Gurgaon, Sonipat and Delhi. So yes, there have been exhaustive details, but what is going to be important is not just about connecting the dots about how the top layers layer, the second rung separatist leaders, the middlemen, and even the stone pelters, but also how the strings are now attached from the money across the POK, which is including getting Hajj money, which is also about cross-border LOC funding, which is also about under-invoicing. How Pakistan is pumping this money is also which needs to be seen and needs to be proved beyond doubt. So remember, this is not just about a filing of an FIR or having raids conducted or arresting. It has to stand in the court of law. There has to be a conviction. So there has to be series of events. But the wheels of justice, as somebody in NIA has been telling us, has already started moving.
All right. Thank you so much, Kamaljeet Sandhu, for that update.